Thank you, Seamus, for those very kind words. Lord Mayor, Acting President, distinguished members of the university, families and friends of today's graduates, and most especially you, the graduates of 2019. I am really honoured to be here today as you graduate from this wonderful place of learning. I'm happy to be here as your hard work, your commitment, your perseverance has been acknowledged and rewarded. Every accomplishment starts with a decision to try, to take that first courageous and even sometimes painful step into the unknown, the uncertain. You should celebrate and share a very personal triumph today with those that are close to you, with those that you love, and those that have supported you on the journey. I can safely say that you should consider yourself and yourselves a success today. But there is the possibility that some of you may not consider yourselves that success just yet. There may be a sense that success is somewhere else, further along the road and somewhere else. One question that comes to my mind regularly is one that I have mulled over for a long time. What does success really mean? What does success really mean to anyone? A good leaving cert, an honours degree, a master's degree, maybe even a PhD in time, a good job, a promotion, a big bank account. In my work, I meet people who have all of those, and yet they still feel that they may not be the success that they want to be. In the modern world, there is great pressure to succeed. A conversation, I didn't hear it myself, but it was reported to me, recently overheard on a train. A young teenager to her mother says, "Mum, I'm determined to be myself." To which the mother replied, "Oh, for goodness sake, surely you can be better than that." There is that sense out there. In many ways, all of this striving, all of this achievement, all of this accomplishment, all of this success may not teach us how to live life well. There is even a tyranny, I believe, myself, to all of this goal setting and maybe all of this self-actualization. Maybe it is enough just to be yourself. Maybe it is enough just to be yourself. As long ago as 1995, a gentleman called Bob Moorhead, an American writer, highlighted the painful paradox of our age. And as a friend of mine said many years ago, it appears to be improving worse. We have more conveniences, but less time. We have more degrees, but less sense. More knowledge, but less judgment and understanding. More experts, yet more problems. We have got more gadgets, but less satisfaction. More medicine, but less wellness. More acquaintances, but fewer friends. We have learned to rush, but not to wait. We have learned how to make a living, but perhaps not learned to make a life. It seems in the busyness, in all of the striving for so-called success, we can lose ourselves along the way. We can become disconnected from what nourishes us as human beings. We can become disconnected from others. We can become disconnected from ourselves. We can become disconnected from the natural environment that bred us. We can, sadly, some of us, become disconnected from the future, from hope and meaning and purpose. We can become disconnected from the core values that should be guiding us. In the service of this success, we can become less human, less caring, and perhaps even less ourselves. We don't need more successful people who measure everything. We need more people who are human, more people who are making a difference beyond a narrow view of success. And I think that is the invitation to all of you today, to make that difference beyond that narrow view. Education at all levels needs to reassess too. I am glad to be part of a conversation in this university that is attempting to balance academic success and accomplishment, which is very important, absolutely, but with what it means to live mindfully and to live well in a world that's challenged in so many ways. But that's for another day. Most of you, some of you may have, in fact I look down and I think some of you may have, but I think it's worth restating it today. You have never heard of John James Randolph Adolphus Mills Barnes. What a mouthful. Known to his friends as Johnny. He was called the Happy Man of Bermuda. He was born in 1923. He started his working life as an electrician in the Bermudan Railway. That was until it closed in 1948. He then became a bus driver until the 1980s. He wasn't retired for very long when he decided to take up a new job. At dawn one morning in 1986, he showed up at the main roundabout in Hamilton, just outside the capital of Bermuda. The first cars of the morning rush rolled in. He launched himself into action. Arms outstretched, he waved enthusiastically, face beaming, eyes warm, and all he did was wish people a good morning and wish them well for the rest of the day. As the morning developed, so the traffic got heavier. As it normally did, the roundabout became totally congested. The air was full of fumes and the expected stress of the morning. But he continued to wave energetically and to give individual greetings to everyone that passed. That first morning, he wasn't received very warmly. Stressed commuters wondered, who was this strange man? Some shouted at him, even, thought him a nuisance. Some thought he was just plain weird. And all he did was welcome them into the city and wish them well for the day. Despite this inauspicious start, he persisted. He continued to show up each morning at 4 a.m., Monday to Friday, and to wish people well. At 10 o'clock each morning, he just packed up, took the bus home, and ended his day's work. During those first few weeks, he persisted through good and bad. He kept showing up each morning and wishing people well. What happened next? Well, people became more familiar with this man, this unusual man. And at some point along the way, they started to wave back. They also started to talk about him. They just talked about this man who showed up with such positive energy, such kindness, simple kindness. A couple of months into his new job, it struck Johnny that maybe it wasn't just enough to show up and wish people well. He should also give them something. He printed some postcards and his smiling face on the front of them, and he gave them gratis to anybody that would take it. What happened next was not unexpected. When you show kindness and perhaps share a little more, people often return that kindness. They reciprocate. People started to give Johnny a Bermudan pound in return, and he did quite nicely out of it for just giving out a card, showing up, and wishing people well. When Johnny wasn't there, people actually began to miss him. He was predictable, he was dependable, he just showed up. And the question arose, what would happen if Johnny wasn't there in the morning as they drove to work? The question was finally answered when, not without some opposition, and there's always opposition, a local sculptor was commissioned to create a life-size statue of Johnny Barnes. You can go online, you can Google his name, and you can see it. This statue now stands at the roundabout, and Johnny Barnes is always there. And there's more. Johnny became the face of Bermudan tourism. He was the first person to meet visiting dignitaries and heads of state. Sadly, Johnny passed away on the 9th of July 2016. He did not have a primary degree. He did not have a master's degree or a doctorate. He was not the success that some measures of modern life might dictate. But how many of us in this room will have a statue put up to us simply for showing up and wishing people well? Let there be no doubt, it is important to celebrate your achievement today. Success is important, but so too are the simple things in life. A smile, a good wish. Be determined to show up to the simple things. That's my invitation today. Be determined to show up to the simple things. Be determined to be yourself beyond any other pressures to succeed. Be yourself. Be determined to make a difference beyond your success or so-called success or what you think is success. And all you have to do is show up like Johnny Barnes, and look what happened to him. Finally, remember that you are all, each and every one of you, you are all a success today. Go and enjoy the rest of your day with the energy and zest of Johnny Barnes. I wish you well. Have a nice afternoon.
Well, I'll be the first to acknowledge my own success. I chose well, I think, when I picked the speaker. So. Thank you very much, Hugh. Now just to acknowledge the occasion, Griffin Murray, Dr. Griffin Murray, our manager, and soon to be departing from ACE, and we will be very, very, very lonesome to see him leave. He's going to the Department of Archaeology to take up a new post, so upwards and onwards for you, Griffin. But before you leave, I'd like you to officially present a small gift to Hugh.